And the little red light is on, Mikey, meaning that you and I and all our surroundings are on the internet, the Patuta. We're on the Patuta. Good morning, Michael Knight.
Last night, good morning, Vinnie. Last night I was laughing out loud at the word patooter. I said to Kristen, should I bring the patooter to bed? We were going to watch Netflix or something in the sack. And I thought back to where the word patooter came from. Laura Gherking was our staff psychic. She would pick the games before they were played. She always picked the Huskies. It didn't matter who they were playing or what the situation was.
Didn't matter.
As a local psychic, and a good one, and a sensitive to the world around her, she always picked the Huskies. And the guy called in one day and said, you shouldn't have that psychic on. I can pick the games. I'll just look at her my patooter and check out all the numbers and the who's got this and who's got that. And I said, we don't care about your patooter. And the fun is to have a psychic pick the games. Are you a psychic? No, I don't. I'm not psychic. I got a patooter. So that's where the patooter. That's where the patooter came from.
I remember that like it was yesterday. That was what, 30-something years ago, and it's like it was yesterday.
You don't need a psychic. I can pick the games for you on my patooter. Well, that was just too damn rich. And I think everyone else has got a laptop or a desktop or a watch, but we use them only as they're known. The official technological term is patooter.
I think I've called it Patuta ever since. I just thought that was the most brilliant. Besides Spank Boy, I think that was the most brilliant thing I ever heard in my life.
Where did Spank Boy originate?
Spank Boy originated with B.J. Shea. B.J. Shea, who is here in town, of course. When I worked with him in San Francisco, every once in a while he'd call somebody a Spank Boy. And I just thought it was brilliant because the first time that I heard him say it, I could absolutely picture what a Spank Boy was.
What they look like, what they would say.
You know, like Mike Pence was the perfect example of Donald Trump's Spank Boy.
Yep.
You know, you do what I say, or I'm gonna lift up the tail of your suit and spank you. And so that's where Spank Boy came from.
And if you want to use that phrase in a sentence later on today, remember it's not Spank Boy, it's Spank Boy.
Spank Boy, yes, you must include the sh in that. Otherwise, it doesn't work. What makes it work is that it's spanky.
And I bet that the founders of Apple are grinding their teeth this morning that they didn't think about using the word patooter. A computer can be anything. It can be an IBM. It can be a giant brain. It can work for NASA. But a patooter is your personal computer, and that's a very different animal.
Patooter is just one thing. It's just your vibe, man. It's your thing.
Yeah.
You know, and if you don't if you don't have a patooter, you're at a loss in the world. There's really there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you don't have a patooter, you're less of a person.
My sister Diana got a new car, and she sent me pictures of it. And my patooter would not open it up, so I could see what kind of car it was. I could see the car, but I couldn't see any insignia. I couldn't see any. Let's see if I can get some numbers here. Maybe you will.
Well, it's time to get a new patooter if you're not opening up photos.
I don't see those pictures here. Anyway, if she's watching this morning, tell us what kind of car you got, so Vinnie can give you a hint on what awaits you in the years to come. Yeah. Speaking of something that happened while we were gone, by the way, Vinnie had a car show on Wednesday, and then he was sick on Friday, so we couldn't do that. But we're all feeling better today. So welcome back, Vinnie.
Thank you.
While you were gone, Joe Biden was in California raising money and San Francisco, and he visited LA. And when he was visiting LA, I had to go out and get donuts. We were going to babysit. I never show up empty-handed. So I was getting donuts and listening to KNX, and they were bemoaning the fact that because Joe Biden was in town, their traffic helicopters could not take to the air because the airspace was controlled. And they didn't want to say where he was going to be and where you couldn't fly. So the word was you can't fly anywhere in a traffic helicopter.
Right.
You can take a 747 out of LAX, but you can't fly a traffic helicopter around willy-nilly bothering the president. So I thought, how weird. I never thought of that before.
What did they do for the pursuits? How did the helicopters cover all of those pursuits that I see all the time on TV from LA if they couldn't move the helicopter around?
We just rescheduled them for later. Those people are willing to play ball.
Yeah, I'm sure that now those people that do those pursuits, the ones that jump into cars and drive them, are they
right?
Are they after?
Yeah, most of them are weekend jocks.
Okay.
Going for that, and the longer you make your pursuit, if you can get the pursuit going long, you can get overtime, double overtime, and time and a half, and vacation pay.
Well, I saw one the other night. A guy was had stolen a tractor trailer truck, one of those tractor trailers with the containers on the back, and he stole it in Bakersfield. And he was clear north of LA before it caught fire. He drove it probably 25 miles with no tires on it.
Yeah, it's amazing how far a vehicle can go with no rubber on the road.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's making people rethink buying tires.
Yeah, because if you're just driving around the neighborhood, you don't need tires. You can just go on your rims.
The rims are doing just fine. You know, I'm only going to the bodega and back again, or to the supermarket and back again. I mean, where am I going?
In fact, I bet that the manufacturer of that truck said, "Look at this thing. Why did we bother to put tires on it? The rims are fine, and how long can it go like this?" And then the rims get hot, the engine catches on fire, and that limits how far you can go after that.
Yeah, once it starts burning in a blaze-like condition, you know, when it's just red hot, it can still go. But that when it erupts into flames, people that are in the truck or the car, but
tend to get out,
generally evacuate.
Did he have a load besides the trailer? Was it loaded with anything like refrigerators?
Yeah, I guess the helicopter, not the helicopter pilot, the woman who was doing the coverage in the studio, and this was on Fox, whatever Fox is down there.
Fox 11.
And I guess they have two channels, like most now TV stations had, the regular Fox channel, and they have, excuse me, Fox Plus. And so at 11:30, they said they were switching the coverage over to Fox Plus so you could keep watching 5 cop cars going up I-5 following this guy. Anyway, the woman who was anchoring the coverage, not the person in the helicopter, but the anchor, astutely pointed out, and I thought that this was an observation I had never heard before, that the trailers, the boxes that's on it was one of those containers from the port, and
oh God, those are tons.
Right, yeah. So she pointed out that all of the containers in the port, as far as she knew, had numbers on them, so that they could tell.
Another well-trained anchor has an open mic, unfortunately.
Yes, one from the other.
And sometimes they're painted different colors. Did she notice that? Sometimes they're blue, sometimes they're white, sometimes they're orange.
And now the newest thing is there's a new company called ONO or something like that paints them pink. And
Hot
they're
pink.
they're like hot pink. They look like T-Mobile stores. And I guess this company, whoever this pink company is going to be the second largest or third largest container company in the world. So they're painting them pink as fast as they can get them in the shop and paint them.
You think there
And
may be a shortage of pink paint?
I don't know. I'm not sure why it would take them so long. I mean, it's not like you got to clean them and paint them. All you got to do is just spray the pink stuff on them. But anyway,
So they're not sanding them down and priming them.
I don't think so. I'd be surprised because if you sand it down and prime it, it's going to that's an extra day of work. And if you're doing, I don't know, 100,000 containers, that's going to add some time to the job.
Do you think the Houthis shoot at the pink containers when they go through the Red Sea?
Maybe on their way to the Black Sea, maybe.
Gotcha. Red Sea to the Black Sea with a pink container. Wait, there's a
With a
song
pink
in here.
container
The same is definitely a song in
on
there
a yellow
somewhere.
submarine.
Yeah. On a gray day.
And that results in the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Which was one of the features the Midnight Daddy has is on Tuesdays and Thursdays at the bottom of the hour, he plays a long song. It has to be over 6 minutes, and that would account for one of them right there, the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald with Gordon Lightfoot.
Is
Trying
that
to remember all the lyrics.
Is that 6 minutes? Is that long enough for you to get up, get out, go to the bathroom, and come back, or with as I have with the advanced age, that project takes a little bit longer than usual?
You can estimate that 6 minutes would be enough, but do not be surprised if it's not enough.
Yeah.
Also, Midnight Daddy is so well prepared; he knows what the next cut is, and he does not pee during the show.
Probably a good idea, but you know, as many of us have, every once in a while, you just get caught short. Sometimes you got to go.
Well, that happened to me once in a talk show. And I put 2 more spots into the break and told the guests that I'd be right back. And I came back directly.
That would,
but I could not stay. I had to go.
Yeah. That would result in the rule that I have that says never pick anything up in a studio and drink it.
That's not a bad rule. I remember the late Gil Har at KFRC. He was on KFRC AM Magic 61, and I was on the FM with Harry Nelson. We were in the newsroom, and he always said that he never had any water or any liquids after 6:30 in the evening to ensure that he didn't have to get up and pee during the night. And he could just go directly to his alarm, knowing that he would not be disturbed until 3 o'clock in the morning or whatever it was we used to get up.
But good God, that first pee when you get up though has got to be memorable.
It's rewarding. It's better than waiting.
I mean, I'm a guy that winds up getting up a few times a night to go to the bathroom. So
I don't, by the way, get up at 3 o'clock in the morning by accident anymore. I don't know if you do. Just say, well, this is when I used to get up. I think I'll get up now.
Every once in a while I do. It's not. I used to do it a lot more. I used to do it when I was the last time I did mornings, which was in Pittsburgh. You know, I had to be there. I didn't have to be there, but I had to be at the studio. 7 o'clock in the morning. After I stopped doing that, I had, for a while I would sleep, and then all of a sudden, boom, I would be up at 5:30 and looking around going, wait, it's still dark out, it's what's going on here? But then I'd stay up. It's hard to, once you wake up, it's hard to go back to sleep.
One thing I do miss is driving to work when there's nobody on the road. That was a good part about the morning show, which I did a lot of. And even in San Francisco, going across the bridge, nobody on the bridge.
Yeah, yeah. That was always good. Except now, it's prime time for carjackings. If you're out there at that time of the morning, you probably should have a gun. It's
What I had was a bazooka mounted on the roof that I could twist.
Yeah.
And
that's probably a good way to go, because I mean, time and time again, you hear 5:30 in the morning, some guy was sitting at a gas station filling up his car, and two guys came up and took his car.
yeah, no, there's no stopping no stopping and shopping. This is direct to work. You prepare yourself for in terms of gas the day before.
Yeah. America is a different place nowadays than it was when we were doing the morning show back then.
Yeah.
It's a much more unkind, much more violent place. It's just different. It's not the same as it was.
You can't even fly a traffic helicopter anymore when the president's in town. Too much of a threat.
Well, I don't know if you ever really could you?
Well, that raises the point. Does Biden shut down traffic helicopters in whatever city he's in? What about Washington, D.C.? Do they have traffic helicopters flying around the White House? I would think that there would be a no-fly zone nearby. And if your traffic helicopters strayed into the wrong place from WMAL, somebody was going to shoot it down.
Oh, I'm pretty sure that you can't fly, that there's wide swaths of Washington, D.C., that you can't put anything in the air.
You wouldn't want them flying over the Capitol, would you?
No, you don't want to fly. You don't want to fly them over the cap. You don't want them flying over the Capitol. You don't want them flying over the White House. You don't want them flying over, the Jefferson Memorial, little Lincoln Memorial, little Washington. Anything that you could shoot at or blow up and put pain on the people.
But then you'd have to add the Pentagon to that list and the CIA to that list. So there's no point in being a traffic reporter in Washington, D.C., because you can't fly anywhere. I wonder if that is a fact.
Yeah, I don't know that you could do a lot of traffic by air in Washington, D.C. We're talking about. I'm
Right.
not sure that. I don't know. That would be a tough place to do traffic. Well, although, as you have often said, and I'm a disciple of yours when it comes to this, if you live in a place and you don't know where the traffic is,
there's nothing we can do to help you.
Yeah, no voice on the radio is going to help you out. No voice on the radio is going to lay its vocal cords on the hood of your car and magically transport you from I-95 to Route 28. Just not going to happen, right?
It's not going to happen. The game that the traffic reporters play here in Los Angeles is, we got a problem in the Orange Crush. What you have to do is take this alternate route, get off the Orange Crush, take city streets to this turn, get back on here, and then you should be around it. Well, if everyone takes that advice, 2 million people get off the freeway, take the alternate route, and now it's not an alternate route. Now it is the end of times. You're never going to get to where you're going.
Live in that neighborhood and are screaming and throwing, bottles in front of your car and stuff, just so that you don't, you never do that again.
That's why the alternate route sounds good to the program director. You didn't give him an alternate route. Give him another way to get off the freeway. Never thinking for a moment, if everyone takes that advice, the world grinds to a halt, and now it's not just the freeway that you can't get. You can't get city streets. You can't get to Manhattan Beach from anywhere in California, thanks to that traffic reporter.
Well, I remember when they first started Waze, which is, the phone app that many people use to find alternate routes. When they first started Waze, Waze would take you off the freeway and send you through neighborhoods. I got sent through an alley one time in Williamsburg, Virginia, to avoid a traffic jam.
Williamsburg
kind
is
of
famous
bizarre.
for
But
its alleys. The most
yeah,
fascinating alleys in the world are in Williamsburg.
if you want to see alleys, just put your Waze on most direct route, and it'll give you the most. I'm surprised it doesn't send you through somebody's bedroom at some point. But you're you're going through these alleys, and people were starting to get upset that all of a sudden they're coming out of their house in the morning and there's lines of cars all over the place. They can't get out of their parking spaces. So they started, I know, especially in LA, to get somewhat violent about it.
Hard to believe, huh?
Imagine that, somebody getting pissed off in LA. But they they were throwing bottles at cars. And I remember I saw this one picture of somebody who actually went out and bought or stole. I don't know how they acquired it, but they acquired a spike strip.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Throw it out in the street and just leave it there.
Well, that's going to clog up. If you wanted to clear the streets in your neighborhood, that's a interesting way to go about it, but it's going to make things worse in the long run.
Well, it's certainly going to get some people pissed off because spike strips, they don't put like a little hole in the tire. You need four
No.
tires after you encounter a spike strip.
And what you will find is that you can drive on the rims from Bakersfield to almost LA, and then your car catches on fire. Alternate route or
Yeah, well,
not.
if you go around that loop, what is that, 215 or whatever it is, it goes around 205. You can go around, avoid LA, and just keep going up the Grapevine until the gravity stops you and starts to draw you back toward LA.
Grapevine, the summit at the Grapevine is 4,400 feet. So you're up there. If it's snowing, you're going to get it.
On you, doesn't it?
It seems like the hill, if you're coming to LA from the valley, it seems like that part of the hill is steeper than if you're in LA going to the valley. It has to, you go to the same place, you end up at the same altitude, 4,400 feet, but it seems steeper coming into LA than it does exiting the valley.
I wonder if it actually really is. I wonder if it probably, I don't know how you find that out. I guess you could look at a topographical map or something, but maybe it is. It is much more of a graded approach coming out of LA, because I know coming down from the north, that thing is it's big. It's what am I trying to say? It's high, as you go through. But I know coming back, it seems to be more gradual.
And if you want to try it for the first time in a 4-cylinder car, my advice is to get to the right, because you're not going to be driving in the left-hand lanes up that hill. It's not going to happen. I don't care how optimistic you are about your car's chances.
I did the Grapevine once in a 4-cylinder Volkswagen Rabbit that was loaded with people.
Get to the right.
And it was as zippy as that car was all over the place. It became unzippy on the Grapevine.
It became a spank boy.
It became less than zippy. It became bogged, actually, quite bogged down.
Vinnie's an authority on Superman, the television show, the black and white version with that we've all come to love and appreciate. And I did an overnight babysitting job with Kristen this weekend, so the parents could go out and be adults for a while. We saw this animated movie called The Sea Beast. And as elementary and as limited in its technological efforts as Superman and the cartoons of that day were, the Sea Beast movie was amazing. The beasts were huge. They were animated. They were red. They could do anything. The kids and the pirates that were chasing them and the king and the queen in the village and all that stuff were amazingly animated. Extraordinary work. And the kids that what I'm watching it with are 5 and 8, and they just take it in. We see this every day. This is the type of animation we're accustomed to. Realistic, extraordinary, with music, with sound effects, with big screen effects, with everything. And if that when they're adults, is the Superman of their time. If the animation and the production quality advances as much as it did from Superman to this movie called Sea Beast, in another 10 to 15 years, I can't imagine what it's going to look like. I can't imagine what the storylines will be and how the production will be improved and what it will look like. It can't get any more realistic or extraordinary.
Oh, look at the difference between even what you would consider advanced and great animation and things like Close Encounters of the Third Kind or
Right.
E.T. or some of those movies of the 80s, and what you go and sit down in a movie theater and see now. I
We're
mean,
past all that.
CGI has changed everything. When they used to have to do it with models, now they just sit down at a computer and boom, 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 boom. When you add the advent of artificial intelligence into it, I think you're going to see things that are going to blow your mind. You're not going to be able to distinguish what's real and what's not real. And as we become a dumber country by the moment, um, I mean, it's definitely going to be interesting to see who believes what, when, and how.
Now, that's another matter. What we see as entertainment may turn into the news recreating situations for us. We weren't there, but the shooting may have gone like this. And then they just play the whole thing for you.
Oh, I think you're going to. I mean, you already see it with some of these longer form um, reality type shows. These crime investigation shows where they'll
Mhm.
take an incident and they'll
Reenacted.
reenact it. And several years ago, I was watching one of these shows with somebody. I won't say their name because, but I was watching this show, and they said to me, "How did they know to have a camera where this was going to happen?" And I was going to get into it and explain it, but I
No point.
just went, "They were lucky
Nah,
that day."
they just
But
happened
there was,
to.
one of these total reenactments. You got the actors and everything, and the one guy sitting there. He's, well, I walked in the house, and all of a sudden, I saw the gun. And you know, you couldn't really explain to this woman that this was a recreation. But I can see where local news to get ratings, because they'll be out of things to do. They'll be out of bizarre stories to tell. That the next place they're going to turn is to a reenactment. And they'll put a little thing on the bottom. They'll say reenactment, but there'll be a whole new industry for actors that act in reenactments.
This is a winter of our wet discontent in Los Angeles. Lots of rain, lots of sliding. What I hate is when you watch the local news and they turn the weather into just one big tease. Today we're going to have heavy rains and we're expecting snow and mudslides and high waves and a king tide. Let's go to Vinnie in the weather center, the 7,000 Doppler, 12 million volts weather watcher. And he'll say it's 62 degrees in downtown LA. We'll be back later and tell you what the forecast is going to be like. So the big story is so big that you can't tell me. The big story,
Yeah,
the headline is so damn big that all you can do is tease it and tell me nothing.
yeah.
You don't tell me when it's going to rain or if it's going to rain or how much it's going to rain.
Right,
No.
I'll tell you what the forecast for rain is at 7:20. Well, I'm leaving the house at freaking 7:15, you idiot.
Traffic and weather together.
What do you got for me?
With lots of traffic
Well,
and
we don't
very
have
little
traffic
weather.
today. We can't fly. The president's in town. Although that's when you can really blame the traffic on Biden, right? I mean,
Yeah, but they won't tell you where he's going or what freeway he's going to use because that would violate his security. So they just say, well, they're on the move. We don't know where they're going. We'll let you know when it happens. But we can't see exactly where he's going because we can't put our copter up.
they don't want you to know. Why would they want you to know? They don't want you to know where people are going. We can't get the copter up, so we'll tell you. We'll hold our phone on a selfie stick and show you that.
A long stick, copter stick.
It's a copter stick. A stick, not stick. Oh man. I've been lucky enough, Michael, to be following my friends, the Lilienthals, who are driving the Alcan 5000. Actually, I have two friends that are driving this thing, the Lilienthals, and then my friend Jeff Zerschmead is also driving in this thing. And would you?
What is it?
It's a rally, and they drive from Kirkland, Washington, to 5,000 miles to somewhere in Alaska. I
Wow.
think it's Fairbanks or something like that. I forget exactly where, and they stop and they do different courses on the way. But it's it's a, I don't know. I mean, maybe they have 25, 30 cars, and they're in the part of the
Why do they
course.
go? Why do they go in the winter, Vinny? Why do they go in this time of year?
Because it's much more fun to do it in the summer. I mean, in the winter than it is in the summer, because then you can say, I went through the snow. I don't know. I mean, I would wait. Well, part of it, I think, might be, Michael, that the mosquitoes are the size of Alaska Airlines jets in the summer.
And do their doors blow off at altitude?
Yes. That's how you leave the car. Just the door blows off and you get out. But it's just been fascinating watching. It's led me to believe that you and I some year should not do the 5,000 because I don't know if I want to be stuck in a car 5,000 miles with anybody. But the more direct route that goes from Seattle to Anchorage, I believe it is. There's that Canadian highway, Yukon highway. That looks like it'd be an interesting drive that we could
enjoy.
Yeah, that we would like, that we would. I don't think you have radio stations or anything. Once you get to a certain point, there's no satellite radio up there.
Really? Not even Sirius X or anything?
I don't think there's any Sirius, or I mean, basically you're making mixtapes. Don't throw those old cassettes out because you're going to need them.
And you can't connect to Spotify through your car because there's no internet connection. This is the first.
I don't think it's really good if it is. I mean, it's just a territory where nobody really lived. Not that many people live there, so it's not commercially viable, I guess, unless you have the mad scientist Elon Musk, unless you have his satellite service.
So you drive from Seattle, you leave America, you're safely into Canada where there's no Donald Trump, then you keep driving and you're back in America where there's a Donald Trump and all the people from Alaska who follow his ways. You re-encounter the dark, odious evil of America.
Yeah, maybe Baja California is a better bet.
Well,
what's the worst that can happen in Baja California? They build the wall and they lock you out of the country?
The cartels take your car and leave you by the side of the road.
It's funny. I've seen a number of people who have taken that trip. Matter of fact, I had a couple of people on Drive Time, not this past week, but the week before, that had just finished that trip up, had driven from Baja all the way up to Alaska with their RV.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's a trip. And they were saying that they never ever felt in danger or never felt any. I mean, because I was like, man, you're driving this RV down there. I mean, don't you think that something's going to happen? And I guess the police concentrate enough along that route. Um,
The
the worst
Mexican
thing that
police.
happened was they had to
That
pay a
that
couple of
was
times to get out of traffic tickets. You know, when the cop tells you, "Well, we can take care of this right here," uh, you, you take care of it, right?
I've got the cash for that. Not anymore, you don't.
Nope, we've taken it from you. We're working. We're the agency that's working for the cartels.
You were driving too fast. No, I wasn't. Well, you were driving too slow. Here's the ticket. You going to pay it now, or shall we go downtown?
Yeah, call it whatever you want to call it. You know, you can take anything from speeding to driving too slow in the left lane to
Voting for
obstructing.
Robert. You were going to vote for Robert Kennedy, so we're giving you a $500 ticket.
Right, which just you were going to vote for Kennedy, and we don't like Kennedy here. So, um, pick what you want to call it. Just pay the fine
Call it
and
anything you
be
want.
on
This is
your
the
way.
prize. Yeah, right.
But don't pay
Roadside
it too
justice.
quick because then we'll know you have money. And I'll call my friend up the road and
And we'll do
say,
this again.
"Yeah, there's some guy with Oregon plates coming through. You want to pull
He's
him
cash.
over?
He's got plenty of cash.
His initials are ATM." Oh man!
Yeah,
So what
that's the
happened?
side of Mexico. It's the side of
Okay,
Mexico
I'm
that I
sorry.
do not approve of. That's the side of Mexico that upsets your vacation. No way.
Yeah, it's and it happens. I mean, it used to happen. Um, well, I don't know if it used to happen more. I know that it was really bad down in Nogales. When I used to go from Tucson to Nogales all the time, you almost expected that it was going to cost you $20 or $10 or whatever it was. And back in the 70s, that was, actually money. Um, but more than once we had to go to the police station to retrieve our license plates because that's what they do down there. They
You can
take
go.
your
I
license.
will take your plates. Yeah.
Yeah, you can park your car and they'll just take your plates and take them to the police station. And then you got to retrieve them from the police station.
It'll
And
be
that,
$500 for one plate, a
well,
thousand for
they were
two.
smart. They never overcharged you. It was always $5, $8, $10. I think they believed in quality rather than quantity. Or no, quantity rather than quality. I think they felt like if they got 20 people at $8 for a pair of plates every night, you know, they were
That's
doing okay.
they were doing fine. Don't don't wet your beak too often.
Exactly. Go easy. It's a lot of Americans.
There's going to be a whole bunch more tomorrow.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't get too crazy. Don't kill anybody. Don't hurt anybody because the last thing you want them to do is go back and say, unfortunately, mom didn't make the trip back with us.
We're pulling you guys over. Yeah, we thought you might. We're the Marines. Oh,
Well, that's why I don't know if you remember. What was it a couple of years ago during the pandemic? Remember those people went down? They were from Texas and they went down to Mexico,
yeah.
and the
They got
cartel
carried
grabbed
away.
them,
Yep, they
and
thought
all
there
of a
was
sudden
somebody
the
else.
cartel went after the people that grabbed them
Right.
because they didn't
Because
want them
it gave, 'em-
screwing up their business.
you gave the cartel a bad name. You're messing up our equation here.
Yeah, yeah, because people hear that and then they say, "Oh, well, I'm not going down to Texas anymore. I'm not going down to
Nogales.
Mexico anymore." And so all of a sudden, your tourism business, which they rely on, is cutting. You got a quarter of it left, if even that much. And I mean, there's that's how they survive down there. Between selling stuff on the border towns and smuggling stuff on the border towns, between the two, they don't want anything to rock the system.
Donald Trump eats pizza with a fork and knife, so he won't see the fentanyl that you put in his pizza. He won't notice it. Now, if you folded your slice like you're supposed to on the sidewalk with a greasy wax paper, you'd notice the fentanyl.
You'll be okay. You happen to watch Saturday Night Live this week?
No, I have it on tape and recorded.
Oh, you have it on tape?
It's not on tape.
When you watch it, explain to me who the guy was that was hosting it.
Oh, that happens a lot. I don't know who their hosts are.
I had no idea who he was. They looked like they grabbed him out of a bar in Sunnyside. And maybe that was the attraction. Maybe he's the new Kevin James or something like that. But it was a weird show. I can't say as I knew who the guy was that was hosting it.
But had he gotten too famous for his talent? A famous person with no talent is bound to wind up on Saturday Night Live sooner or later.
Yeah. I thought that I didn't think he was the caliber of somebody who should be hosting the show.
And was he any good in the skits?
There was actually 2 skits he wasn't bad in. It appeared he was maybe a stand-up comic or something like that, because he seemed to handle the microphone pretty well. He was, when he did his monologue, they handed him a hand mic, and he seemed to handle it. So it made me, but I don't even remember his name, to be honest with you. He was just a fat old dumpy-looking Irish guy. And
there's plenty of those around. Sooner or later, there was one of them going to make it.
Yeah, I mean, not to knock who their guest hosts are. I mean, they usually have some pretty interesting people. I just didn't know who he was. Had no idea.
I have a recommendation from Netflix of a show that I saw the first season of it quite a while ago, and I didn't know the second season was out. And it's called The Lincoln Lawyer, which takes place in L.A., and it's a guy that drives a Lincoln, wonderful Lincoln.
Wasn't that a movie with McConaughey?
Possibly. But this is the series. Yeah, the third season.
That might have been a movie a few years ago with McConaughey, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, the version on Netflix is really good.
Yeah,
I applaud the cast and the talent and the writing and the twists and turns, and I look forward to season 3. So if you're a Netflix freak and you haven't seen it, there's 2 seasons. I think about 8 episodes each, and it's called Lincoln Lawyer. And it's got a great cast. I recommend it highly.
What do you think guys like Jack Benny or Hugh Beaumont or I don't know, Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz think when they look at a series today and a season is 8 shows
Instead
and they
of
used
20.
to have to crank out 26 every year? It just must be on. I'm sure everybody's happy to have the job, but good God, I mean,
well,
they're over almost before they start.
The storylines were a little thin. Like Lucy loses the tweezers. That's a show. She can't tell Ricky that she lost them.
Well, Ricky finds him when he sits down.
At the end, oh, Lucy, you got some explaining to do.
Your tweezers.
And that's a show. She tells Fred about it. Don't tell Ethel. She tells Ethel about it. Don't tell Fred. They're here somewhere. We've got to find them. If Ricky finds out I lost the scissors, we're in trouble.
Audience applause.
And there's a guest host. Harry Von Zell is the guest host. And Harry Von Zell volunteers to go out and get some scissors. And he leaves and he never comes back.
Where did he go? Oh, well, he went back to Burns and Allen, who were filming down the hall. They're 26 episodes. So I think back in the 50s, what were they doing? They were doing 30 episodes, right?
I
Wasn't
don't
a TV
know.
season like 30 episodes?
They didn't have
That must
repeats in an off season. It just it never occurred to them that we can just keep showing this crap over and over again. What are you going to call it? Seinfeld? No,
yeah.
Friends. We'll just keep showing it.
Yeah, we'll just show the same stuff. We'll put people in some different clothes, but we can show it. Well, no, because nobody thought about really syndication until Desi Arnaz came along.
Did he be in
Uh,
syndication?
yeah,
Desilu?
syndication, and then actually, I don't know, was Ziv before them at the Ziv television company? Remember them?
FBI with Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. Where is he?
No,
He's behind the
no, that was
Ziv. You
way
can't see
more.
him.
But Ziv did Highway Patrol, Sea Hunt, and they were the first ones to do shows independent of a network and then sell the shows to local stations.
And I want to give you a hint about 2150 by. Nobody says that anymore, but I think they should. In fact, I think when the CHP pulls you over on the 134 freeway for speeding, they should come up and say 2150 by. I stopped you
And if you
because you
know
were
what they're
going too
talking
fast.
about, they should let you go.
If you have the response in the right numbers in order, you should be able to get out of that ticket. Or he'll say, I stopped you because you were going a little too fast. Do you know how fast you were going? And you'll say 2150 by. And he says, damn. All right, you're on your way. Here's your license.
You know, it's funny. They two things I always notice about Highway Patrol. Number one, they shoot everybody.
Like this. But they help.
Yeah,
Broderick Crawford always gives his gun a little
yeah.
push to get the
Burns
bullet
movie.
out.
It's like he's making the bullet come out faster.
Yeah.
If I just hold it back, I might injure him. But if I do this, it's him hard
He's
enough.
a dead man.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they shoot everybody. They put up a roadblock and then they just shoot you.
No criminal gets out of there unshot. I guess that's what people wanted to see in those days.
And they don't drive their Buick Special safely. When they leave an area, they leave dust and dirt and all sorts of crap behind in the area.
Yeah, they rip the whole street up.
Gravel is flying everywhere.
They just shoot everybody. Pull some woman over for a ticket.
Plus, if you got stopped by a highway patrol car and the guy that gets out is wearing a fedora and a brown suit, what are you supposed to think? Who the hell's this? Who the hell's this guy? You're no
cop. Guy stole the car. And he's got alcohol on his breath because Broderick Crawford was a noted drunk.
He had things to do and places to be. More important. I gotta go. Broderick, we're not finished with
the had a meet at noon.
2150 by. I'm out of here.
There's a number of great stories about him when he almost fell out of the helicopter a couple of times. He did fall out of the helicopter once, broke his leg.
Because he was leaning out and shooting like this.
Well, if you shoot like that enough, it eventually takes you. Yeah, there was a couple of times that and then there was a couple of times, I guess I was reading a book about the highway patrols. A couple of times he was that they wouldn't let him drive the cars because he was too drunk. As a matter of fact, they almost lost their sponsorship on that show because he got a DUI.
Whoa.
Which I think in those days, maybe I'm wrong on this, but in those days had to be nearly impossible to get. I mean, you had to be an ornery son of a bitch to get a DUI if you were a Hollywood star in the 50s.
Falling down drunk and with an attitude.
Yeah, you had to really be a mean SOB because, if the cops pulled you over, usually they would just take you home. Oh, it's Broderick Crawford, just take him home. But I guess there's a story about that the California Highway Patrol was going to pull their technical advisor because when he got caught with the DUI, they didn't want anything to do with the show. And I guess somebody spread enough money around somewhere where somebody else said, okay, well, we'll figure this out.
Dude, relax. How would you like a nice Buick Special?
Yeah, there you go. We have a nice $3,700 car sitting in a lot downstairs. I think your wife would look good in that thing.
It's black and white. That's true.
But just think, she doesn't have to stop for any lights on the way to the mall.
Nope. And she can shoot whoever she wants on the way to the store.
As long as she goes like this.
As long as she really pushes it.
Well, that's like, there's a Superman. I forget which one it is now. I think it's one where, it's one of the earlier black and white ones. And so Superman comes in and
like he does.
They're shooting at him and the bullets are bouncing off his chest. So the criminal, as they often do, gets frustrated. So he picks up the gun and he throws it at Superman. And Superman ducks out of the way.
Because he didn't want to get hit with a gun.
Why the hell is he ducking? He just took a volley of bullets off the chest. Why in the world would he be ducking away from a gun? It could hit him in the head. It's not going to do any harm.
Did Superman ever play sports on any of his shows? Was he ever like a running back for the Daily Planet football team?
The closest I think that I ever saw him come in one of the shows is in the first. It's actually not the first Superman, but in the first season, there's one called Superman on Earth, and it shows when he comes to Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And in the rocket ship, he comes and they show him as a young boy, and he comes into Ma Kent, and he says, "Ma, something really weird happens to me." She says, "Well, what, son?" I said, "Well, when I play baseball, I never have trouble seeing the ball." So she goes, "Well, yeah, you have good vision and, you see the ball." No, she's, "Mom, no, that's not what I'm talking about." She says, "When somebody hits the ball, it goes behind the bushes and I can see the ball through the bushes." And she goes, "Son, it's about time I had a talk with you." She explains to him why he's not like other kids. And
why
his
parents'
he gets
name?
first base in less than a second.
Yeah. Why he always outruns the infield hit.
Yeah, he outruns the so that's the closest I think I ever saw any sports on Superman. I think there was another one where they were at a racetrack, and I'm trying to think though if anything, but I don't ever remember one where Superman played sports.
Couple of new names for the Giants, the San Francisco Giants, who are now within spring training and playing the Angels today.
Have not won a spring training game yet, right?
A couple of our starters have had their surgery. They sold cars in the offseason. Now they come to spring training to have their surgery. And there's a kid named Kyle Harrison. Kyle Harrison is 22 years old and looks like he's going to break into the starting rotation because of the shortage we have with real pitchers. So he's a new pitcher, not a real pitcher. We'll find out if he can pitch, and we'll find out together because the National League is so welcoming for 22-year-old kids who have started only 7 games in their career. So Kyle Harrison, good luck to you. I know it seems like a simple game sometimes. You throw the ball where they can't hit it, and then they hit it where you can't catch it, and that's the name of the game. But if you've only got 7 games under your belt, even though it's a brand new San Francisco Giants black uniform belt, there's a learning curve, and we'll see how well you adjust to it. When the first time you face Shohei Ohtani and the LA Dodgers.
Well, I was reading through some stuff, baseball stuff over the weekend, and one of the articles I read said that everybody writes one of these things. They're kind of off-season recap, and one of the articles said that unfortunately, the San Francisco Giants had the worst offseason of any major league team.
Really?
Which I don't quite understand, because I thought that they made some good signings.
I can't believe it was the worst.
Yeah, I don't. I don't quite get it.
Who's back with the team? A guy, I think it's his 4th visit with the Giants, is Pablo Sandoval, the Kung Fu Panda, and they have him assigned. They say third baseman Pablo Sandoval assigned to San Francisco Giants in transactions. What does assigned mean? I mean, they sign him to he gets a shot at spring training, but who assigns him, and where is he? How is he assigned?
If I'm not mistaken, and things have changed radically over the last couple of years, but if I'm not mistaken, that means that he's in camp on a minor league contract. He's not signed to the 40-man major league roster.
Okay, that makes sense.
So this way they're able to keep their 40-man roster and yet bring people in and test them. So he plays with the major league club. I mean, he dresses in the major league locker, clubhouse, but he's signed to he's technically a minor leaguer.
Well, I'd put him at first base, not third, although he's lost a lot of weight and probably is in the best shape of his recent career. So if he wants to play third, it's okay with me, but I would think to keep his reliable bat in the lineup, I would try him at first base as well. 2 hot corners.
Who do they have as their designated hitter?
That's going to be the new
is that Jorge Soler?
Right.
Does he hit as good in the rain as he does in the sun?
To be decided. Can he hit in the fog? Can he put it into McCovey Cove is what I want to know.
Yeah, he's a non-roster invitee. 37 years old. He last played in Dubai. Did you know they had baseball in Dubai?
You're talking about the Kung Fu Panda?
Yeah. I guess this. I'm just looking at the. I'm just looking at this report. Yeah, he is thinner, huh?
Yeah. Giants also have a pitcher who's taller than Randy Johnson.
You don't find those around.
6'11", 230 pounds. Sean Jelly, spelled Hjelle. He's slightly Scandinavian.
Sean Jelly, huh? I could only imagine what that clubhouse is going to sound like.
Yeah. There's a little bit of Korean, a little bit of Scandinavian, a little bit of jive talk, a little bit of Bob Melvin.
Well,
just have good food. If you want to have a happy clubhouse, have good food.
Too bad they don't have a player named Peanut.
Remember Peanuts Lowry?
Yeah.
He was the coach for the Giants when they first came to San Francisco. Salty Parker and Peanuts Lowry were the coaches for the Giants when they came west. Now, I know that sounds dated, but I miss the names. I miss Salty and I miss Peanuts.
Yeah, you can't make that stuff up. They used to have really good, that was one thing that really talked me off about baseball, when they got rid of those great nicknames. I mean, they just had such good nicknames for players. Vinegar Bend Mizell.
Now that's a good name.
That was a great name. Van Lingle Mungo, and that was his name, right?
Catfish Hunter.
Yeah, you just had people had great names, man. Great names.
Kennesaw Mountain Landers.
Yeah. So what do we got? Yeah, I mean, spring training. I don't know. It's hard to call much until they get 50 at bats, 75 at bats, something like that. Some guys go out there and tear the cover off the ball, and other guys that just come along slow. And then there's always the one player who beats the crap out of the ball in spring training and then has nothing.
Well, they have Pablo. They have the Kung Fu Panda in the at first base in the depth chart.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine him playing. I mean, he's his high 30s, right?
Yeah, he was born in 86.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine him playing third base. I mean,
well, the funny thing about third baseman, they somehow retain their skills to at least catch the ball. But you got to get to the ball at third base. You got to be able to move. So I'm glad that he lost all that weight, because he's going to be challenged at third base.
Yeah, well, I think he's going to be challenged to make the team. I mean, again, I don't know. I'm not intimately familiar with the Giants roster. And maybe if they have him in camp, obviously they think that something might happen, but it doesn't. I mean, you're except for the DH spot, would you really put him in first? Would you? Yeah, you definitely wouldn't put him at third at that age, would you?
Well, he's listed as third baseman in the lineup, so that's how he's identifying himself. Third and first. He's not going to play the outfield. We got too many outfielders, and he's not going to play short. He's not going to play second. So
yeah, he didn't have that kind of speed when he was 25. Never mind, Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he, certainly he's one of those people that make the fans happy.
The funny thing about him is they love him, Vinnie. They love him.
Oh yeah.
With no qualifications. He is much loved, and I hope he makes the team. But there's a lot of kids that want to make that team too. And the funny thing about the Oakland A's, while we're talking about Bay Area baseball, is apparently they're going to try and play in Sacramento. And the Giants have no veto power there for some reason. the city of Sacramento wants them to play there, but the Giants AAA team is in Sacramento. Now, they kept the A's out of San Jose because they had the rights to that squad. They played their single A team, and the San Jose Giants play in San Jose. The Sacramento River Cats play in Sacramento. How can the A's play there as well? How can they take a residency there, even if for one season, with a AAA team that belongs to their rivals? I don't understand that.
Well, I know that the A's have the territorial rights there, so I guess they have the right to say if we want to put our baseball club there, we can. Now, it's all legal mumbo jumbo and crap and stuff. I don't know exactly. I think it's sad that the Giants just don't let the A's go to San Jose. I think that's so sad because that's the one place where the A's would go where it would make sense.
Well, they can't go anywhere until they get somebody to say, yeah, we'll give you $700 million to build a stadium. Right now, they can go to Vegas, but they can't have a stadium there. They can go to San Jose, but they can't have a stadium. Where they need somebody to gift them with a home.
But I would think that you would be more likely to have to find corporate sponsorship and people down in San Jose in that area that would be more inclined to get involved with the ball club than you would either in Sacramento or even in Vegas, because Vegas doesn't make a lot of sense for a Major League Baseball team, in my mind.
Too hot in the summertime, yeah.
Too hot in the summertime, too much of a transient population. Maybe if you put the Metro would support it as far as the number of people that you have, but I don't know that the casino, you're going to have to get the casinos involved in coming up with money. You're probably going to have to tax rental cars or something like that if you want to build a stadium. I don't know that there's an appetite for that in a place like Las Vegas or many cities that actually. I see it in the A's case in San Jose because you have a lot of Silicon Valley money down there. 2-3 of those guys could get together and buy the team and come up with the money to build a stadium with some limited help from San Jose.
Elon Musk could have them playing in orbit.
Yeah, somebody, somebody down there has enough money, or a couple of people have enough money to buy the team and to build a stadium and to keep them there. And I think that they would be a hit in San Jose because I think it would liven up the and I don't know how much of a rivalry is still between San Jose and San Francisco, but I believe there still is that kind of regional rivalry, regional situation where the San Jose people are jealous because San Jose is a bigger city than San Francisco, but it never gets the recognition it's supposed to. And San Francisco is a small city, and they get all of the, they get all of the chutzpah. They get all of this flash. They get everything. Even the 49ers moved down to Santa Clara, and they don't even call themselves the Santa Clara 49ers. They're still the San Francisco 49ers. Well, we'll show you. We'll have the San Jose A's. So, I don't know. Major League Baseball, I read an article over the weekend that said that they are really starting to push the expansion buttons right now.
Thinking to enliven the league.
Yeah, and I guess there's a few cities that have been mentioned. I think
which ones? Orlando?
No, I don't think they're going to put another team in Florida. I don't think Florida is I don't think they're looking to. No, I think Nashville and Charleston, I think, or somewhere in that mid to South Atlantic coast.
Well, if they go to Nashville, the neo-Nazis can buy a corporate box. You
Yeah,
always have white supremacists at the game.
Nashville Whites.
There you go. The White Stockings, the Pale
Yes.
Hose.
So I mean that's a possibility. Although there are many people around Major League Baseball who say that Montreal should
Time to
get a
try it
franchise.
again.
That Montreal, and as a matter of fact, there's going to be a documentary. I think it's on Netflix. That's going to come out this month, or maybe early next month. I forget exactly what the date is. About the Expos and why they failed up there. And
Was it ownership? It always usually is.
well, it was ownership. They played in a horrible stadium.
Yeah, Jarry Park.
No. Jarry Park was actually. I've been to Jarry Park. Jarry Park was actually not a bad place. It was just small. Jarry Park. Willie Stargell and Ron Fairley. What do they have in common besides being baseball players?
Most home runs in Jarry Park.
That's part of it. Most home runs into the swimming pool at Jarry Park. Jarry Park had a swimming pool in the right field corner.
I knew it had to be right field for Fairley.
And Stargell and Fairley, I think, both have 11 home runs in the swimming pool.
Well,
not that I'd remember anything like that, but
no, not that it would come to mind.
Not that it would ever come to mind, but
well, no. Did you figure that out on your own, and did Fairley ever tell you that?
Fairley told me that he hit. I don't know if he ever gave me the exact number. I think I actually went and looked it up, but he told me that he hit a number of balls into the swimming pool. We were talking about Jarry Park one day because I was always fascinated with Jarry Park. I remember seeing it when I was a kid.
I thought it had a sun problem. I thought for late afternoon day games they had a sun problem there.
Yeah, they may have. I don't remember, but it was a nice old stadium. It still stands today, except that they've modernized it. They use it for tennis. But it's still there. The swimming pool, I think, the last time I was there was probably about, I don't know, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, something like that. And the swimming pool was still up. But anyway.
Did they do play-by-play in French? Did they do play-by-play in French for baseball?
Yes, they did do play-by-play in French. Yes. They had, what was the guy's name?
Sleepy LeBeef.
Well, Claude Raymond did the color. Remember Claude Raymond from the Dodgers?
Yeah, I do. Yep.
Yeah, he did color. But I forget who. If I think about it for a minute, I'll probably get it. Because we used to, when the Expos were, how the heck what did we do? When, for some reason, we took we used to play the highlights from the Expos in French on the post-game show at Cairo. I used to have my producer call up the French radio station. These were the days when you had to call up for the highlights.
Yeah.
And so we would call up and get the highlights in French for the post-game show. So we'd always play the Montreal Expos highlights in French instead of in English.
I like that.
Yeah, it was just something quirky. Anyway, yeah, that Netflix documentary is going to come out, and I'll definitely be interested in seeing it. It's but anyway, yeah, Montreal is is being mentioned by more than just a few people.
Who else is on the list? Bozeman, Montana?
Well, I don't think there's many other places they can go, is there?
You can take American League to St. Louis.
I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think. Yeah, I don't know that they're going to. The only metro I see that you could possibly put another team in would be New York.
I was just going to say New York.
Yeah, I mean you could put a team in northern New Jersey, and it would probably work. But the money that you would have to pay to the Mets and the Yankees would be phenomenal.
And do they have a veto?
Yeah, they have territorial rights over New York. I don't know how it splits. I don't remember how it splits, but there's yeah, you would have to pay either one of them or both of them, depending on where you were playing.
When's opening day?
27th, isn't it? I think it's the I'm pretty sure it's the 27th.
It's the day where hope springs eternal.
Yeah, well,
or not. Perhaps not.
well, it's interesting, Michael. I mean, there's some teams where every team thinks that they're gonna, that they're going to win the World Series on day one. But realistically, that there are many teams that don't have a shot. By the way, opening day is the 28th, and it looks like there's a full schedule.
Nobody rests, huh? Everybody plays.
Well, somebody's got to rest, right? Isn't there one team that has to be off?
That could be the A's. You
Uh,
guys aren't a real team. You don't have to play a full schedule.
Space Cowboys play the Astros. Guardians done. I'm just looking at the March 28th. Brewers open at the Mets. That's the first game at 10:10 Pacific time. Cardinals open up at the Dodgers. See if there's any other interesting. The Guardians open up at the Athletics. Now the only question is where the Athletics open up.
Yeah. The Emeryville A's proudly present Major League Baseball.
And then it's the Red Sox and the Mariners here. Giants open up at the Padres. That'll be interesting.
Just a short drive.
Yeah, Bob Melvin goes
home
for his first game. Although, how much a home could it be? Wasn't there that long, right?
They never loved him.
Yeah, I don't think that was a good fit for him. Giants are the perfect fit for him. I thought the A's were a great fit for him, except that he never
they
got
were
it,
a great fit. I think he was very fondly remembers his time with the Oakland A's.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I mean, he's the last guy that had him successful, right?
Yep.
So it'd be interesting to That'd be interesting to watch and see.
For some reason, I just saw in my mind a picture of Dick Williams when the managers and the coaches wore different color hats in the team. They wore white hats.
Yeah.
And there's Dick Williams with the swinging A's, fighting in the clubhouse and winning on the field.
Dick Williams. Yeah, there was it's sad because Oakland and the A's have had such a great tradition. It's a shame that they screwed the city up so bad.
They won it all a couple times. They really were a fabulous team.
Did they win it three times in a row? Or they got to the World Series 3 times in a row? And then, of course, they were a huge success.
And around the league, they were a sensation with their uniforms and their mustaches and their long hair,
and even in the years.
And their attitude. When they came to town, they were a cocky bunch.
Right. They were good and they knew it. But unfortunately, it looks like the clock is running on their time in Oakland. Even if they get the Vegas thing straightened out, and I don't know how they're going to get the Vegas thing straightened out because Vegas doesn't dick around. You got to show up. You got to show up with cash or a good letter of credit.
When you come to that town, you bring your own money. You don't come to town and say, "Can I have some of yours?"
Right.
That's not how this town works. We take your money. You don't take ours.
Right. Great. That's such a great point. Is that business in Vegas is done differently, and the people that run the businesses in Vegas, the movers and the shakers in Vegas are still, after all these years, the Mormons.
Howard Hughes brought them in.
And the Mormons are notorious for not spending their own money, working with your money. You want to come to Vegas? Great, bring cash and lots of it.
And lots of it.
We didn't build these casinos because we were using our cash.
We used your cash.
We built these casinos with your money.
And today we're operating also with your money, and tomorrow operating with your money.
As long
Maybe you get the idea.
As they land jets over at Harry Reid Airport, we'll be using your money. That's how it works here. If you don't like it, there's 15 goes that way, 97 goes that way.
And the desert has holes.
See if they help you out in Laughlin.
Go back to LA.
See what you can get for Rumpf.
Poor Rumpf. Oh my God.
Go to Needles and see how things work out. All right,
Vinnie. Yeah, we say all right at the same time. We'll meet on a wacky Wednesday and a freaky Friday.
If the Lord's will the creek don't rise. Who knows? By then, maybe the A's will know where they're playing. Well, it says on the schedule Oakland Coliseum, but I don't believe anything these days.
Plus, it's the American League. They can change their mind at a moment's notice, with no notice, in fact.
Yeah, they don't have to tell you. You know what they should do, Mikey? I'll leave you with this thought. Bring back the balloon chest protectors.
There you go. I love those. You got to hold them up.
Bring back the balloon, man.
And what's this business with you have a bag full of balls? They go in your pocket. Put them in your pocket, or don't be an umpire.
No, we want the bag. We want the bag. Used to have the lumpy suits, the oversized jackets with the big pockets. Stick the ball in there. All right, Mikey. I will see you on Wednesday after Lord's Will and the Creek Don't Rise. Until then,
our special guest will be Jocko Conlon.
He'll be there in the flesh or in the bone. whatever he's bringing, whatever he has left.
the spirit thereof. He used to cross his
Exactly.
arms and just go, mm-hmm. He would put his chin right in the manager's face and just nod and nod and nod. Give him hell, Jocko.
All right, Mikey. See you Wednesday.
See you, Ben.
Take
What a
care.
wine.
Bye-bye. Oh, yeah. I forgot.